Welcome to Southeastern 16 presented by FanDuel. We are here to preview first round playoff game with James Madison going to Oregon Saturday, December the 20th, 6:30 Central. You can catch that on TNT or True TV. FanDuel, our partners, have Oregon by 20.5 with an over-under of 50.5 as we do this about 24 hours after the bracket reveal. Jay Greason, I'll let you start. Your thoughts on this one?
Complete and total mismatch. An absolute ass whipping on the horizon. And gonna be the catalyst of change to where the playoff format will not allow more than one group of 5 team in this draw if it stays at 12. Because how much better would this have been if this was Notre Dame at Oregon? It'd be the best first round game. And I'm not saying Notre Dame would have been 12, Tulane would have been 12, but how much better would the entire field feel like if it was not Ole Miss as a close to 17-point favorite over Tulane and Oregon undervalued at 21.5-point favorite over James Madison? Look, God bless those kids. They're better at football than I was at anything athletically in my life. I am not trying to bag on anybody involved with the James Madison program. But what the real conversation has to be here, this is a September 14th game, not a December 20th game, right? So, look, we can hit you with all the numbers. Oregon is offensively scary. 11th in points per game, 9th in yards a game, 7th in points per play, 6th in yards per play, and defensively, they're just as dominant. They're top 10 in all of those categories coming back. So Oregon is elite. James Madison has overachieved, and they're a wonderful story with the foundation that Kurt Cignetti had set. But the conversation about trying to break this game down, Oregon's going to have to walk in there so overconfident they can't even see the street. And James Madison's going to have to play so far over its head, its nose is going to bleed for a week. So, I mean, look, Dante Moore, and it gives me great hope if I'm a Kentucky fan with what Will Stein's done with transfer quarterback after transfer quarterback after transfer quarterback, considering Bo Nix is a borderline NFL All-Pro. Dylan Gabriel was a starter as a rookie at Cleveland until he got hurt. And Dante Moore, until about 3 weeks ago, was a Heisman finalist. So Will Stein's figuring out offensively what every one of his quarterbacks do well. And what they do really well right now is be real efficient with the football. They, as a team, are completing 72+% of their passes. Try to get your head around that. That's like a C+ in math class. So, I mean, and that's just – and they're not doing the Mike Bobo, let's throw the ball 4 yards to Zachariah Branch. I mean, this is an Oregon team. Look, kudos, James Madison. Kudos. Now buckle up and take this ass whipping.
Chase, if a colleague, Jay Greason, is wrong, and by the way, respect for James Madison for what you guys have done. I don't know what's in the water in Harrisonburg, but man, you guys are putting out some coaches between Cignetti, between Bob Chesney, who will be heading to coach UCLA after this one, but will coach this game. Go to basketball, Mark Byington here at Vanderbilt and Nashville doing a whale of a job. So James Madison's getting a lot right. It also got a lot right in football this year. JMU lost its second game of the season, I believe, at Louisville, has been on a winning streak ever since. Can get after the quarterback and got some diversity on offense and a playmaking quarterback too, Chase.
Yeah, they do. And it all starts with Alonza Barnett III. He's thrown for over 2,500 yards and 21 touchdowns. He's ran for 544 yards and 14 touchdowns. He can do a little bit of everything. He's only gotten sacked 18 times. He has thrown 8 interceptions. But he's kind of where the offense starts. And they've got a good run game. Not only can Barnett run, Wayne Knight has rushed for over 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, averages about 6.6 yards per carry. They've got some other guys, Jordan Fuller, Joby Mallory. They've got a handful of guys who can run the ball. That's how they've had a lot of success this season. They've got some pass catchers as well, Wayne Knight being one of those. Landon Ellis has 540 yards of 5 touchdowns catching the ball. But the quarterback is Barnett is the guy for them. It starts and stops with him, and you can expect they're gonna try to do what they've done all season and run the ball and see if they can get something going on Oregon.
Yeah, I'm looking. The most similar game JMU played was the Louisville game, which was a game you had a fourth quarter fumble recovery in the end zone that sort of broke that one open, made it 28-14 at the end. The box score was pretty even, in some ways maybe even tilted a little bit towards James Madison. 19 first downs to 12, total yards 263 to 264. And look, Oregon is better than Louisville, obviously. I'm trying to come up with the most comparable game that the JMU played. The killer in that one, 12 penalties for 95 yards too, by the way, for JMU. Since then, though, just nothing remotely like what JMU is going to see at Oregon, which did lose a home game to Indiana. That's the only game that Oregon lost all year. Closest call for the Ducks was an 18-16 win at Iowa. Cold day, tough matchup with that defense. And since then, Oregon's rolled in its last 3 games, including 2 pretty good wins over Southern Cal and at Washington to end the season. Dante Moore is a, potential NFL first rounder. We could go on and on about the talent differential. Before we get to picks, guys, anything else a note in this game that you want to bring up? I will say, I think, Chase, you talked about JMU's offense. They did have a very competent running game on top of, what they did through the air. Wayne Knight ran for 1,263 and 9 scores. So there was that. JMU has been able to mount a threat both ways, but this is going to be a much different Oregon defense that they're going to be facing. And, oh, by the way, JMU, not a team. I look for turnovers. I think they were even on the year, so that's not something that you can really point to as a storyline of why this might end differently than the 20.5-point line would suggest.
Just to circle back, the closest thing you said JMU's played is Louisville.
Yeah.
The money spent and the talent gap from Louisville to JMU is greater between Louisville and Oregon. And that was a 2-touchdown game.
Yeah.
So,
Chase?
Look, I mean,
okay.
Under the rules, I completely understand and can make an argument that under the selection criteria, James Madison deserves to be here because they said the 5 highest ranked conference champions, and James Madison deserves that. They deserve the flowers. Enjoy the NIL bump. Enjoy all of it. They've got little idea of what's coming down the track. And you talked about paths of finding victory. The only way is if Oregon is completely disinterested.
Yeah.
I will give you one more thing just to play devil's advocate. JMU's defense, 15.8 a game. That's 10th in the country. Yards per play, 4.1. That's elite. But, I mean, after – again, not to bag on JMU, but looking at the schedule and trying to find a comparable point for discussion. I mean, best team it played outside of Louisville was probably Old Dominion, which it did beat decisively 63-27. So there's that. But it's just hard to make this translate. Let's just get to picks, guys. Give me your pick and why. We'll start with you, Jay, and then we'll do the total in just a minute.
I'm going James Madison with the outright upset. No, I'm kidding. The Oregon by whatever score it wants to name. And I'll put in the betting parlance, my view on this is how I used to view betting on Spurrier's Gators is that when he clears the bench, his second team is better than your starters, is what Dan Lanning's going to do. And they will leave no doubt. Lay the 21.5. I'd lay it almost up to 28, but I would recommend as soon as this thing gets posted, our viewers go bet it now because it'll be 24 before kickoff.
Yeah, I'm taking Oregon. Huge win. Like Jay said, really whatever they want the score to be, it will be. Mismatches all over the field. I mean, Oregon wins this one big.
Yeah, I'm looking for anything in Oregon's season that suggests it's not going to win this game. It was, I think, I had over 2.1 turnovers or over 2 turnovers per one it gave up in its favor. This defense was amazingly consistent, guys. 4.2 yards a play on the season. It gave up over 5 yards a play twice, that to Northwestern on the road, all the way back in week 3. That was only 5.3. Gave up 4.8 to Indiana. My goodness. And 5.3 to Southern Cal in a game that it won by 15 points anyway. So, yeah, we know about the offense. The defense may not get talked about enough. And James Madison, I just don't think is explosive enough to really put enough on the board. I mean, it was in the games it played against a different weight class. I think that looks a little differently. Let's get to opinions on the total. That's 50.5. Jay Greason, I'll start with you in just a minute. Before we get there, a reminder that we're brought to you by our friends at Yearly Company, a Nashville-based fine jewelry brand built on tradition, designed for meaning. Each piece handcrafted from solid 14-karat gold and natural gemstones, made to measure for a perfect fit, backed by a lifetime guarantee. Every Yearly Company bangle is custom size, so knowing your size is the most important first step before you order. That's where the sizing kit comes in. Code SE16KIT, K-I-T, gets you 100% off your sizing kit at checkout. If you haven't done your Christmas shopping, check out our friends at Yearly Company and get that done. Also brought to you by ROKFORM, the world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, rock lock secure mounting, SEC 25, gets you 25% off your entire order. Do yourself a favor, get the phone case and get the vent clip. The phone sticks to the vent, and it will keep it in front of your face while you're driving the car. It's been a really good thing for me to have. You'll agree when you get it too. All right, Jay Greason, opinion on the total. What did we say at FanDuel? 50.5, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to go over because I think I enjoy betting overs when I think there's a real chance one side will get that on their own ball. I see this being, I would probably bet over in the first half more because I expect Oregon to put its foot on the gas. But I could also see going over 50.5 with James Madison not wanting to get shut out. And, I mean, at least trying to compete to the final whistle against in a lopsided game. So I'm going over 50.5, but I much more prefer the side and bet Oregon first quarter, first half, game total, all of it. But if you got to play the total, I'll go over 50.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go that way too because I do think James Madison will score, and I think Oregon will score a lot, and so I'll go over as well.
Yeah, kind of been up and down on the point totals with Oregon. 20 against Indiana, 18 against Iowa, both elite defenses. 26 against Washington. I wanted to go under. You guys talked me into it. I just think that Jason did the explosive year.
I know we're doing this on December 8th, and so we're still talking about more than 10 days away. You never know what the weather in Eugene may be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It'll be damp, I would bet you.
You know what? Chattanooga gets more rain than Oregon. You knew that.
Really?
Or Seattle, or more rain than Seattle.
Huh.
But
it's just constantly that way, though, is it not?
But it may be cold as bleep in Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah. Well, and you've also got that long flight. I mean, I don't know how long the flight from Harrison.
What time's kickoff?
It is going to be a night game. It probably by that time it won't be a factor. You'll be out there a few days ahead of time, but just going to throw that out there too. So yeah, I'll go with you guys on this one. All right, we'll be here to talk about it. Talk about the first round of the playoffs when it's over. Way to help the channel: subscribe to the membership tier, $3.99 a month. That gets you extra content, and super chats also your best way to support us here at the channel. Thank you guys for watching. For Jay Grease and Chase Robinson, this is Southeastern 16 presented by FanDuel.